Alright, can you guys hear me now? If you can hear me, plop something in the chat saying you can. Because otherwise I am taking this invite and we are going ahead and getting this underway. Okay, awesome. So, sorry about that everyone. And nice little attempted troll there, Caldu. But anyway, sorry about that everyone for going ahead and having some issues with the sound there. It actually has nothing to do with any other technical issues or the tape on my microphone or anything. It's kind of lolsy like that. It has everything to do with the fact that I was cleaning my computer the other day, and I went ahead and unplugged my USB microphone and forgot to plug it back in for a while. Now, it was plugged in since before I started the cast, but the issue is when you have a dedicated sound card and you also have a USB microphone, the settings get a little screwy. So, to make it up to you guys, we'll definitely take a look at the replay of that last game either on Monday or later tonight and actually put commentary on it so that it is a proper game. So it was a really exciting game. Just kind of a little summary of what happened there. Soom tried to try to counter kind of the powerless tier 1 Nem with a very for Tyranids, right? Tyranids being the race that will get, like, you can spend 140 power just on 2 Devour Raveners, right? So yeah, okay, so I'm ready. Anyway, but you know, so Soom went ahead and tried to counter that with this really heavy, requisition heavy tier 1 sort of, but it wasn't even that heavy, honestly. If you think about 4x Termagants actually isn't that heavy for Tyranids, and even though they do bleed a lot, but anyway, so he just had to get the Toxin Sack upgrades, and he used that to kind of try and hold his ground as best he could. What was interesting about it was a strategy that didn't really come full force until tier 2 when he got a Venom Brood out. I'm kind of interested in if he had gotten a second Venom Brood, what would have happened, because I felt like his first one was stretched too thin and not able to deal effectively enough with the Chimeras. But, you know, we'll see what he does as Lictor Alpha now. Nem OK's strategy, by the way, was just incredibly heavy tier 1. We saw 3x Guardsmen and 2x Sentinels, and that is something that's very tough for Tyranids to deal with. Their best unit for dealing with Sentinels, by far, is Devour Ravener. And Devour Ravener is not a cheap unit at all. Devour Ravener, as I mentioned, costs 70 power in tier 1 alone. And, you know, yeah, so again, Tyranids don't have the most efficient counters as Sentinels, and when you've got 3x Guardsmen to go ahead and put the repair hurt down on, get them repaired and everything, and just the 2x to push with, and the Lord General himself being able to hand out medkits and whatnot, you know, if he chooses to, of course. All of that really adds up very quickly. We see that Nem is basically going for the same build here. Sorry, the same build here. We go ahead and take a look at Soom, and again, he's capturing Requisition first, so or my bad, that's Nem. Nem is really on the Requisition ball at the moment. But Soom has put a little more into power this time, so I'm not sure if we're going to see something different there. I get a little bit of lag from Nem, and this is what Soom is complaining about at the end of the game in the post-game chat. But honestly, it's pretty smooth except for those couple of sections, so if there's any lag other than that, then I guess it's just between those two, because I'm getting pretty smooth stuff, again, except for when it overtly lags. So what is going to be the difference here between the Ravener Alpha and the Lictor Alpha in this matchup with well, whatever force compositions we see? The Lictor Alpha is going to be much more effective at actually tying these Guardsmen up in melee. So these Sentinels actually going to be under a lot more pressure because the repair forces are going to be tied up in melee. They're going to have to think about using stomps on the Lictor instead of using offensive stomps on the Termagants, and same thing goes with not using stomps on the Hormagaunts and using stomps on the Lictor Alpha. And we see Lictor Alpha not doing bad damage here either. Kill them pretty decent amounts of models, but unfortunately we see that, you know, Soom kind of doing all he can here and then backing off. He's got 2 generators. I think he's going to go for some Raveners at this point. But he's got to be careful because again, they cost 400 requisition just to get out the door. And we see here he's sort of reinforced. Okay, so here come Warriors instead. So my apologies. I was either wrong there or Soom had a change of heart, one of the two. But either way, we only see one Sentinel from Nemoke so far, actually. So this is possibly a little different, or he's just waiting up for that second one. He is starting to make his push on the generator farm here, though, and this is going to allow him to just kind of continually pressure Soom here and make up for the sort of awesome map control that Tyranids can get. And we see that it's very hard for Tyranids to push up against this very well-positioned guardsman here. Just far enough back they can initiate repair at will. But these guardsmen, though, going down retreat through some Hormigons, probably going to lose a couple of models here. These aren't adrenal glands yet, though. We are seeing that Soom is going to go ahead and try to flank this. And Nem is going to just move up here into a different position. And go ahead and, again, make Soom's life really hard. So, Soom lost last game on Greentooth Gorge. On Outer Reaches is where we're at right now. We'll see if he can go ahead and turn this around. He is doing a little bit better with map control so far. The Lictor may be helping a little bit there. Meanwhile, we see the Sentinel. Big stomp going down on just about everything. And Barbed Strangler Warriors, and this is a good thing to see. Mostly, it's a little tough to deal with the Sentinel, but actually, Lockgar was mentioning, I think, a few days ago. I can't remember exactly when. Ooh, the Lictor went down over here, by the way, guys. The Lictor went down. But anyway, Lockgar was mentioning a few days ago that even Barbed Stranglers aren't too bad against Sentinels because they can get their force melee on Sentinels is actually very good. So if you go ahead and use that to your advantage, and then use the fact you can suppress these guardsmen and deal lots of AoE damage to them, you're in a pretty good spot with Barbed Stranglers. Problem is, Soom himself is not in a very good spot at the moment because he just lost his Lictor Alpha, and that is really going to hurt his ninja capping efforts and kind of his whole map control. And this is not what you want your Barbed Stranglers to be doing there. You don't want them just sitting there tossing barbs at these Sentinels. Those are not going to do enough for you. You either need them in melee or you need them attacking guardsmen or catechins. And we see Scything Talons. This is, again, a very good war gear. And basically, when the Lictor Alpha comes out of infiltration to attack something, he will actually go ahead and suppress everything in an area that he attacks. And you see, this is why Soom is kind of like waiting around here and not really doing anything with it. Here comes the suppression from the Barbed Strangler Warrior Brute, and now he's got the claws out, and boom, knocks back, suppresses everything around him. So we see, very big. This actually traps that Sentinel there. Also, these Adrenal Gland Hormigons doing a great job as well. And, it just makes sure that all these guys get knocked out. They can't repair. They can't move. And it just traps the Sentinel. A great great timing by Soom to be able to go ahead and utilize these very expensive Scything Talons effectively. And, that is kind of the only reason really why we don't see them more often is because they cost 40 power in Tier 1. And, on top of other Tyranid power expenditures, that's just a huge amount. So very nice job by Soom there, winning the battle, but maybe not the war, and this is going to be his issue. As again, I mentioned that was a really big loss earlier he took, losing the Lictor Alpha. It cost him 250 requisition, and, we see where that's putting him at the moment, which is not the best of spots. And we see that already Tier 2 is about 3/4 of the way done for Nem. But this Lord General is going to take some quality shots from these Termagants. We're backing away. I still don't like quite how much Soom is grouping these things, because they are both eating these stomps every single time. Nem doesn't even have to try to send 2 Sentinels in, and of course he doesn't even have 2 Sentinels now. But either way, again, we see the Scything Talons going down, and the Lictor Alpha just getting in here and being very destructive. Very nice usage, though, of the Very Face Armor Bolt. I see what he's doing. So this is going to allow them to be a little more effective against the Barbed Stranglers, but on the whole, I don't think it's not going to stop the knockback still. So I think the biggest issue is still there. We see these guardsmen will get out, and meanwhile, this Lord General is kind of in a position to go ahead and just get banged up by a lot of Tyranids very quickly, but the Sentinel should have a stomp. It's going to come in and use it, I believe. And there it goes, Cuz Stomp. And there come back the Guardsmen. And actually we're seeing that because of that armor purchase, Nem is just now getting what he needs as far as a Chimera in Tier 2. So, kind of interesting that the purchase of both the Barb Strangler, the power purchase in Tier 1 for Soom of that Barb Strangler and the Scything Talons are actually forcing Nem to go, or at least making Nem feel like he's forced to spend power in Tier 2 on something other than a Chimera. So he's not fully leveraging that Tier 2 advantage, I guess I want to say. And meanwhile, these Termagants backing off a little bit. If they could get that, if they could get a melee with these Guardsmen, they would really do a number on them. They got to be careful now, though, because the Guardsmen do have the upgrade of Commissar, so not only do they go ahead and do a little bit more damage, but also they're going to reinforce a little bit cheaper. So any of these kind of attritional wars just really are not going to go in favor of the Tyranids here. Barb Strangler incoming, and that does a lot of damage. I mean, this is why I see why this armor is definitely a nice choice, but at the same time, the damage from the Barb Strangler, ever since they buffed it, is still huge. But this big creeping barrage is coming in here and wipes out a Termagant Brood. A Hormagaunt dies on retreat, and this Lictor Alpha is really trying to finish off this Commissar, who is lucky enough to go ahead and get his Sergeant upgrade, which brings 2 more members along with it. Oh my gosh. Nem just hanging in there. He was hanging by a thread, and that creeping barrage really pulled his Keister out of the fire. And again, now interesting here by Soom is that he's not going for kind of the expected. He's going for Gene Stealers. In fact, he doesn't seem to be even looking to counter this Chimera at all. And this is interesting. He's losing his power here. This is key time for Soom. And he doesn't really have map control either, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Soom wants to push back out about this. And meanwhile, these Guardsmen now have Plasma. See, now this is the time when I would say it'd be a little more useful to have this Carapace armor. But we'll see what exactly how this all plays out. But the whole point here now is they've got dual Plasma guns, I think, at this point. Yeah, okay, 1 Plasma and then 1 Flamer. I assume one of the other ones will have a Plasma soon enough. But, you know, if you get at least 1 or 2 Plasma, and you can keep them not suppressed, then this Barb Strangler is going to fall very quickly to range fire. So we do see a Venom Brood coming out now. And a little bit of lag from them, not too much. And here we go. Ooh, a drop is coming down. These probably going to be Spore Mines. And it is Spore... Well, there is no probably, my apologies. But, Gene Stealer is going to ripping up these guys with a little dumb retreat, only getting about 4 models off of them, though, which is kind of... Oh, 5. Is kind of significant, isn't at the same time, so... Again, they reinforce so relatively cheaply, but, you know, anytime you can go ahead and take some stuff off your opponent without having to lose anything yourself, you're not in that bad of a position, so... Well, it's got some jockeying in center. The Lord General on the left side with his sniper rifle is going out capturing that point, or at least decapturing that sort of natural requisition. And is that... Ooh, a Gene Stealer did go down. Just a model. But that is a significant loss. Those are not cheap to reinforce. So, meanwhile, Lictor off a very nice position here to go ahead and suppress these Guardsmen the second they get out of here, and now Deadly Leap right on top of them. The Flamers actually doing a pretty good job here on the Spore Mines, and the Spore Mines really end up not doing very much at all. So Soom not getting what he hoped for there, and the Lord General on the left side having no problem ninja capping. Gene Stealers actually went ahead up top to go ahead and do their own thing there. And Soom has a regular Warrior Brood coming out, and I'm assuming that's going to be a Adrenal Gland Warrior Brood. So we could actually have all 3 kinds of Warrior Broods right here in this game, right now, from Soom. And here come the Gene Stealers. It's like, ah, nom nom nom, Lord General, noms, noms, noms. Let's go look at what Nem is doing economically. Ooh, he's building up requisition. Oh, catechins. Interesting. So, a tier 1.5 unit in tier 2 for Nem. We're actually seeing, again, a lot of things here for Nem where he's just not afraid to go ahead and do that. So, and these Gene Stealers in a bit of trouble. Probably going to want to just totally back away there, and they do. So we are seeing that Soom's map control is just, it's doing well enough at this point to keep him in the game. And ooh, a big lag spike here. This could be dangerous. Okay, we're still good. We're still good, everyone. And as far as I know, everyone can still hear me. So that's still good, too. Alright, so Lictor Alpha is running up ahead here. Sentinel cannot see that Lictor Alpha. Lictor Alpha just going to walk right by the Sentinel. Walk right between the Sentinel and the Chimera. Field goal! But here comes the Adrenal Gland Warrior Brood, and again, very nice usage of this Lictor Alpha's Scything Talons. Go ahead, get in there. Really disrupt the skeleton. But here comes another Creeping Barrage. Soom reacting a little quicker this time. This is probably the best reaction he's had to a Creeping Barrage yet that I've seen today. And we see the Barb Stranglers get caught up in it anyway, but Nem places those so well, and you do have to kind of remember that the actual targeting range of that is a little bit further than it looks like. Here come these Spore Mines, and they do get a chunk of this Guardsman squad. And what's really dangerous here actually is that the Sentinel has to kind of watch out, or my bad, not the Sentinel, the Chimera, is in this position where it's kind of moving towards the Spawns because it's really trying to prevent the Spore Mines and all the other forces there from taking that out. But there goes that Sentinel in the meantime. Anyway, he's trying to go and prevent all that. And this Spore Mine goes right in on the Devils. And that actually is probably the best usage of that Spore Mine he could have hoped for there. So nice job by Soom. And he's probably going to have to back out of here at some point. But anyway, the danger was that this Chimera was basically left without support. And that is, again, really what you need to do to deal with Chimeras at the moment. A lot of players feel that, you know, the repair rate is a little too high and such. But I feel like, from what you've seen, again, you know, it's going to vary. I think it may be something just with the metagame. May have to watch it evolve a little bit more. So I would give it more time personally, because I have seen stuff like, again, like Noxious Cloud for Play Champion used to go ahead and make sure the infantry have to stay in the Chimera so they can't be outside repairing. I mean, so again, their Spore Mines are another way to do that. Probably Stick Bombs, probably another way. Plasma Devastator, maybe. So there are, you know, quite a few things you can do to that end, I think, on all sides. It's just finding ways to effectively do those consistently. Again, we see that the Lictor Alpha is leading the charge there. And, again, getting in before the Stand Firm can go ahead and get down. And just very effective overall here, but the Warrior Brood, the Barb Strangler, or at least just the 1x of them here, not quite as effective with the suppression immunity down, and that's the key. Also, the range buff is just brutally, well, just being brutal in general there. And by the way, Gene Stealers did die at some point, so somehow I missed that, and they have been off the field. That is a huge loss for Soom. He's pulling out a Tyrant Guard. The danger here is that there is Plasma on the field. There's 2x Plasma, and that little range boost. If he can't find a way to get this thing effectively into melee, then he's going to have big issues. And I am kind of wondering what his plans are at the moment, because knocking back his own Warrior Brood, alright. But he hasn't really reinforced this Barb Strangler very much lately. Again here, Lictor Alpha leading the charge of Scything. This Barb Strangler is going to immediately have to back off. And the Lictor Alpha is sitting here not attacking. There we go. That is part of the Lictor Alpha's excellent AI. Or artificial intelligence, I should say. Creeping Barrage! Oh, there goes a Termagon squad. We're going to lose a little bit more than that, maybe. Nah, luckily the retreat comes just in time for Soom. But he's not in a good position at all here. The Tyrant Guard is coming out. That's about it. He's got his 3 Warrior Broods now. And those are all that have withstood the test of time. The problem is everything he has is vulnerable to Plasma. Or very light AV. So we see the Tyrant Guard has made its way to the middle of the map. And that isn't going to do too much good for Soom here, so he's going to have to figure something out. Although again, I'm really not sure what he's looking to do here. But he always has the sort of trump card as far as... no, he doesn't actually, my bad. Wrong here, I'm thinking about the last game. But anyway, so jumping in, we have the Elytra Alpha immediately losing his ability, though, to go ahead and infiltrate and Scything Talons. While doing that, here come the Swarm Mines. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about. See, these Guardsmen cannot stay out of the Chimera here. They either have to stay out and just, like, die to these Spore Mines, or they've got to try and get in the Chimera, which means the Chimera's got to stay near them until they get in here. And we see the Chimera is starting to get chewed up a little bit because of this. But now it's alright because the Spore Mines are far enough away. Catechins are taking care of what they need to. And the Venom Brood has been forced off. But up until that point, we saw that there's a pretty good job done there by Soom. You know, kind of making sure that the Guardsmen needed to be inside the vehicle and not outside it. The issue is he seemed to chase one of the Guardsman squads around a little too much with his Tyrant Guard instead of just getting hits off on the Chimera. And his Tyrant Guard's taking a lot of damage, but it's buying a lot of time. We gotta watch for this improvised explosive, though, because this could really devastate the approach of Soom, although it probably shouldn't, because just about his entire force composition at the moment is warriors. So there should be no chance in the world that he doesn't see that. And meanwhile, here goes the Tyrant Guard. And this is really just trapping this Chimera, but Stand Firm goes down, so even if the Lictor Alpha finds a way to go ahead and get its Scything Talons off now, knocking off too much, but the Chimera goes down. This could really break the entirety of Nem's force composition here. These Catechins still staying in the fight, but against all of this, they don't have Stand Firm up anymore. They're backing out at this point. Tyrant Guard, ooh, watch out for that improvised explosive. We see those Soom being wise to that, except now his Tyrant Guard isn't, but it goes by unnoticed. And then starts healing up. So Gene Stealer's coming back out again, so apparently Soom really wants those Gene Stealers one way or another. And meanwhile we see, ooh, that's going to be dangerous for Soom. Look at the economy tab for Nem, and basically Nem, I believe, is stalled just about long enough that he's going to be creating a Baneblade at some point in this game. Certainly that is what he is teching towards at the moment. Look, you're also thinking about capturing that point. Maybe not the best idea in the world. Backing down off of that. And I really wish the retreat symbols would show up on retreat again, because I'm assuming that is a retreat. Oh, okay, there we go. Of course, show me up the second that it doesn't do it. Now do it. Game. Anyway, so we have a big push coming up to the top left here. These Barb Stranglers just going to go on, get out of there. Stand Firm is going to be a little too much with that much backing firepower, and in fact, they're already going to lose a model just from retreating immediately. These Gene Stealers up front is a little bit of an interesting place to be at the moment. I'm kind of surprised that they are where they are. They're backing off as quickly as they can, but they did take a fair bit of damage. And wow, look at that health jump just from the adrenal glands here. And here comes the explosive shot down on the Gene Stealers. Actually did not knock them back, but we have a Baneblade in production, so this is Soom's time to make his move. Soom needs to get out here. He's got to take victory points. He's got to take map control. And look at the Spore Mines on the retreat path. And in fact, we see Nem using his Commissars to try and deal with the situation. That actually is some really nice micro here. It's going to save the squad. And okay, now, once the commanders take hits, apparently then they show up in the retreat. I don't even know at this point. You know, as long as the victory points are showing up the proper colors, I am very happy. And Relic did fix that in 3.14, so yay. That does make me a happy caster. Relatively happy. So another Tyrant Guard coming out, and this is going to be a little interesting. But this Baneblade coming up, without Carnifexes to go ahead and tank those main cannon shots. But I guess maybe that's what these Tyrant Guards for. Honestly, I haven't really seen too many Tyranids try to take on a Baneblade in Tier 2 before, so we'll have to see how Soom intends to go ahead and do this, assuming that he haven't even realizes that's where Nem is headed. Of course, with no Ogrins on the field, that maybe a very nice charge coming in here. This Tyrant Guard taking a lot of damage, though. So much plasma, it's got to go and buck. No, it does not have to buck them out, actually, because Soom's other forces here just come in and are so overwhelming that it's working up. Gene Stealers, I don't believe, don't get melee heavy until... And there goes a warrior from the main cannon, by the way. Anyway, I don't believe the Gene Stealers get melee AV anyway. They do have power melee at the moment, but I don't think they get melee heavy until Tier 3 and the upgrade there. Just answering a little bit of a question in chat. So we do see that Soom is immediately backing off here, and another Chimera is coming out for Nem. Well, we have another Venom Brute coming out for Soom. And at some point he lost his Barb... Okay, that was a whole Barb Strangler squad that I guess. I thought it was only just one model that was kind of going the wrong way around, but no, that must have been the entire squad. And actually that was a function of, I know he lost a Barb Strangler. He went from 2 Barb Strangler models to 1 earlier. Something tells me that Soom never went ahead and replaced either of the other 2 Barb Strangler models. And all of a sudden the Baneblade comes down. It's like, oops, maybe should have done that. But dual Tyrant Guards up in the top, and I'm assuming we're going to see just kind of alternating between being in the shell and not in the shell. This Baneblade is going to be pretty brutal and all that, though. They should be able to survive main cannon shots, though. And actually, this Tyrant Guard, I think just baiting that booby trap, maybe, just because Soom doesn't want to eat it on retreat. I'm not really sure. They're Lictor Alpha up top, though, causing all kinds of problems. Demolisher Cannon shot hits the Gene Stealers a little bit, but mostly... pretty ineffective, honestly. And this Lictor Alpha being pretty effective up top. Now these Tyrant Guards are going to have to split. They are splitting. Here comes some Spore Mines down behind the Catechins and everything here. Lictor Alpha coming in being very, very brutal here. And here comes the Guardsmen out. They're trying to repair the Baneblade. I like this push a lot by Soom. Again, using the power of these Spore Mines here, using the kind of controlling power of them to just sort of make sure that anything that tries to go in and help this Baneblade out is just going to get eaten alive by Spore Mines, or, you know, it's just always a bad idea, basically, making sure of that. Gene Stealers are going to have to get out of here, though. And we're seeing dual Tyrant Guards now down on this Chimera all over it. In fact, there go the Venom Brutes. Venom Brutes need to get out of that Creeping Barrage. They're just going to retreat. In fact, all the Warrior Brutes do. That may be a little bit of a mistake here, but I'm not sure. It looks like this Baneblade's in a very dire strait anyway. These Tyrant Guards are doing very well against them. There isn't very much that can be done to stop them here. We see that Nem is bringing his Catechins back out. He's bringing his other Imperial Guardsmen back out. But he is not going to get here in time. This Baneblade is simply taking too much damage from these Tyrant Guards, and they're within the main cannon range, so they cannot be main cannon. Wait, but they're going into their... Oh no, this could be a big mistake here by Soom. They eat the main cannon shot in that mode, and they are regenerating a little bit. But this Baneblade is going to get healed up quite quickly if the other Guardsmen are able to get back out here. And in fact, there goes the Demolisher, and we see these Tyrant Guards just soaking up so much damage. This one over here, though, is dropping very quickly. He really had a shot. That Baneblade was quite low. He might have been able to finish it off. But here come his forces again now. Here come the Gene Stealers into the back lines. These Tyrant Guards are getting ready to get up here the second that they can. There they go. There they go. The Baneblade backs right up into the Tyrant Guards. Oh my, this is... Here goes Stand Firm, making sure that no Lictor Bandits is going to do anything. One Tyrant Guard goes off to back everything down. The Baneblade is down, ladies and gentlemen. The Baneblade is down, and Nem is being routed. Nem's forces are being routed. The Baneblade is down, and Soom is winning this game as far as victory points go, and now he has the superior force composition. Soom has just turned this game around on Nem. Nem really seemed to have this game in the bag, and then that Baneblade just went down, and he also lost the Chimera. He's pulling out Ogrins immediately to try and turn things back around in his favor, but he's really going to have to work quickly to go ahead and turn this around on Soom. Soom really pulling all those stops there to take the Baneblade down. He is now bashing the power of Nem. This is something that has not been done all game. Sure, Nem has a pretty big power stockpile, but at bare minimum, this is going to help him out in the long run. If there is any kind of long run, if there's any kind of mounted comeback for Nem here, that is really going to hurt it. And again, I like the positioning of where these Tyrant Guards are. Where do they go to go ahead and heal up? They go to the natural power farm of Soom. And meanwhile, the Lictor Alpha going ahead, doing some harass, making sure that this capture effort is going to be tough. But here come these Ogrins all over this one squad of Venom Broods. Soom really is going to need to watch to make sure here that he's not suiciding things at the moment, because he really does not need to. And it looks like he did get everything but one of those away. And he's able to go ahead and push now with his Adrenal Gland Warrior Broods and Gene Stealers on those Ogrins. And we have another Chimera coming out. So, despite the loss of the Baneblade, we are seeing that Nem is able to kind of effectively get himself somewhat back into this. But he's got to work quickly, because Soom is now going tier 3. Soom is in a much better position than he's ever been the entire game. And literally, we're talking since the beginning of the game. And meanwhile, Creeping Barrage, where is this one starting and where is it ending? It's starting on the left side there by the victory point. And Soom, some really nice micro at the Adrenal Gland Warrior Brood there to actually just like eat it in maybe the best possible way, which is to say, like, not eating it at all almost. Meanwhile, Tyrant Guards under fire from Plasma Guardsmen, but quite safe in their shells. Plasma does alright damage to them in that, but not, it really takes a lot to bring them down from there. And Plasma is not the way to go if you want to be looking to do that. We are seeing a lot of plasma damage coming up here, though, for these Warrior Broods who are looking to decap that. Realize maybe not the best idea in the world. And the Lord General backing down this side. So we see victory points at the moment. The countdown timer is stalled, as both players hold an equivalent amount. Take a look at Soom's economy. So he's going tier 3, but he's really got not much the second he gets there. He may be looking to have the option to add Lictors to his force. So, but anything else, it may almost have been a mistake to go tier 3 at this point, as standard as it is for Tyranids to go tier 3. Oh, my bad, a Lictor was already in. There we go. I knew we didn't have enough for Carnifex on the start there, but here comes Tyrannoform, so that's another reason to go tier 3, I do suppose. So let's see how Nem manages this. We're seeing that these Tyrant Guards in a tough spot here against these Ogrins, because they're trying to deal with the Chimera and the Ogrins at the same time, and the Lord General just kind of sitting there and sniping away. But Gene Stealers and a Venom Brood coming in from behind. The other Venom Brood is retreating out here. The Lictor Alpha trying to get this decapture off, because Nem has not captured the right side. It's just a Guardsman squad sitting around on the right side. Victory point not capturing it. And these Ogrins are chasing these Venom Broods a little too far. It's a level 4 Venom Brood, so I don't think they're really going to get a kill on retreat there. And now 2 Tyrant Guards versus 1 Ogrin squad. We have another Venom Brood that's retreating. If one of these Tyrant Guards pops charge, they can save it. Not oh, actually it does at the end there, but it seemed like he didn't even need to pop that. But go ahead and see the Tyrannoform didn't do too much, actually. Very nice micro by Nem, except that he lost his Ogrins. And at this point now, we have to take a look at just all the issues that's going to cause for Nem, because we're now looking at that there's a Lictor on the field already, and Soom is at the point now where he's probably going to be able to just continue pumping those Lictors at will. We're looking at Nem's resources now, and he's kind of getting up to the point where he can maybe consider a Lehman Russ if he really wants to. But meanwhile, both Tyrant Guards are stalling again here, and Nem is down to 16 victory points, so he really has to hold his natural victory point and his top victory point. And against the Lictor Alpha and Lictors, that is a very tough thing to do, because there's just so much infiltration to go around and go ahead ninja decapture 1 point, and that's all that needs to really happen here, is for 1 point to fall into Soom's favor. And these Catechins now getting caught up by these 2x Tyrant Guards and everything else. These Catechins in a bad spot, but they're not the focus of the moment. The focus is that Chimera, which is an even worse spot. That goes down very quickly. And now Soom is just laying into Nem's forces up top here. Nem is down to 3 Guardsman squads and a Catechin, and he's using health kits as best he possibly can here, but he's not at all able to use his sniper rifle's range. And his Lord General dies. Actually, his Lord General dies before all of his retinue does. You can actually see there's the Sergeant here is still fighting. And this is going to be the end of his Catechins, though, if he doesn't get him out somehow. And he does actually manage to get him out. The Venom Broods there stop force melee for just long enough there, just barely long enough. And there goes that Lictor Alpha again, and apparently it's not retreating. Now it is. And here comes a bombing run on these Adrenal Down Warrior Broods. Oh, wow, actually, that was... you know, I mean, I don't mean to criticize too much, but that was really poorly targeted by Nem. And the reason I go ahead and say that is because bombing run always knocks back. So, you know, he just had the knockback a little. He was basically targeting as if they were going to stay on the victory point. But Nem GG's out, so this is a 1-1 series. So NB Soom number 2. Soom making a comeback there, an epic comeback, really. Finding a way to get back in that game and to really bring it to Nem. And oops, Soom has left. What is this? Soom, get back here. We gotta re-invite him. Got one more game left in him, I hope. Alright, let me go ahead and re-invite him. Do Soom, where'd you get off to? But anyway, yeah, as far as the amount of viewers in the channel right now, that probably has something to do with that little mic mishap earlier. I wouldn't be too surprised, because certainly when the daily started up, it was just kind of sitting on a screen, and if there was no voice there, that would have been pretty brutal, honestly. So I think definitely all of these replays will go ahead and give them another little showcase just for everyone that missed it due to the technical issues. And there we go, we got Soom back in here. So is he going to show us all 3 different faces of Tyranids? And by the way, apparently it was a Steam bug that booted him out. He wasn't... It would be weird to rage and win, I suppose. So let's go ahead and see. Seawall is what Nem is suggesting as far as the map goes. And it looks like that is fine with both players, so... This is basically the Game Replays Open Season Tournament A map pool. Tournament C map pool would swap outer reaches for Calderis Refinery. But, yeah, so speaking of that, like I was saying before, for those who couldn't hear me, which is everyone, because of... sigh. But, yeah, anyway, so... Game Replays Open Season number 1, Tournament D. Sign-ups are open. After this finishes, you should totally go ahead and sign up for that. And IB Freakout, I know you're in the chat. You can totally give everyone there a link, because you're a ref, and you're awesome like that. So, we've got Game 3 now. The decisive game here, the deciding game, the big game between Soom and Nem, and it's going to be interesting to go ahead and see what they go for here, because Nem has now taken one. He's now taken a loss, I guess I want to say. And he came from a fairly advantaged position. We're seeing Soom is going 2x Hormagaunts, maybe more than that, Hive Tyrant. So Soom is completely changing things up. Just totally throwing, he's just taking the cards and he's just throwing them on the table, and then he's reshuffling them, and then he's throwing them in the trash and he's grabbing a new deck. He's just doing he's completely different and everything here. We see that Nem isn't really changing much at the moment. Soom is going for 2x Hormagaunts and Spore Mines and this Hype Tyrant. So Soom, again, being that the first time we had him on the daily, which is the very first daily, he showed the 3 different faces of Tyranids. He's doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have to give Soom some kind of big props for that, just for being awesome. And going ahead and helping all Tyranid players out with just about everything you can do with Tyranids. He's shown us really 3 different kinds of styles of playing against Imperial Guard. And, you know, he showed some viability for that 4x Termagant even, which I didn't think was going to happen. I figured, like, 4x Termagant, Soom, what are you doing? But he showed some viability for that. You know, it looked like a little more emphasis maybe on Venom Birds in the mid game, and he could have had maybe a little bit more of a chance in that first game. Here come the Spore Mines on the left side. Remember, this is all before the Guardsmen can have their Commissars out now. And we saw these Hormagaunts already ate the Stomps, so they can now freely pursue the Sentinel. And he's actually using the Spore Mines to path block for the Sentinel. The Spore Mines are pathing blocking the Sentinel a little bit here. Not too much, but it looks like that is, again, something that could be viably used to go ahead and combat Sentinels and stuff here. So again, we see that third Guardsman squad coming out for Nem, and again, unexpected, so really not much changing here, but Soom doing his best here as far as map control, decapturing the natural requisition point of Nem, and he's going to go ahead and bring these Hormagaunts around here and see what he can do over here. He's got to be really aggressive with these things. He's only got 2 Hormagaunts, and he's got a relatively slow hero, and he's going to go ahead and have to find a way to just keep the map decaptured for now until you get more units out. Now, what else is he trying to get out? He's trying to get a Warrior Brood to start with, and no doubt that's going to become Adrenal Gland when we hit tier 2. In the bottom, we've got those Hormagaunts have to watch out there. They want to go ahead and take the bottom, but this guard tower is just too easy to secure that bottom with. And so we see that Soom has a full generator farm already, by the way, which is also notable because there are no generators at all, not even a node for Nem yet. You know, despite Nem's advantaged map position, he's still going for that extra Sentinel here. And we're going to have to see how this works because this is a very different force composition. It is just about all melee right now. In fact, I should say it is all melee. But, you know, Sentinels have a finite amount of melee counters, and they've got kiting, which always helps. But so Warriors joining up with the Hormagaunts in the bottom. Are actually not even joining up. These Hormagaunts are just going to go ahead and finish capturing. And we've got extended carapace. I believe that means we're going to go ahead and have charge. Charge! Going down on the high tower, and he is doing some nasty little sink kill over there. Warrior Brood got stomped, but again, they're not taking too much damage. They've got heavy infantry armor themselves, so they're basically able to tank up the same kind of stuff Sentinels can. And meanwhile, Hormagaunts and this is a little dangerous for them in combat with this Lord General here without Adrenal Glands, but they've got some support coming in. And so that's going to allow one of them to retreat out. The other one just got a nice little squad cycle in there by Soom. And we see these Warriors just kind of causing problems for them, preventing him from pushing back out. Again, all of this is, at the moment is just stalling. This is still at the moment not a favorable force composition for Soom. We're seeing the second Warrior Brood, though, could change that. And obviously, power-wise, this is working out pretty decently for Soom, too, because he's only 10 power. Not even... Ooh, did he just cancel? He canceled the Warrior Brood, actually. Alright. But now I don't know what he's doing. But if we had looked at just the 2 Hormagaunt, 2 Warriors, with the Adrenal Glands and everything even, power-wise, he was not far at all behind Nem. So, let's go ahead and see what he wants to do here. We'll keep flipping back to that economy tab as much as we can. Here comes the charge. Taking over some guardsmen there. Or knocking them over, I should say. Sentinels plinking away here at the node down there pretty effectively. There isn't too much that really can be done to these Sentinels at the moment. And I think Nem is starting to realize that there isn't going to be much done about his Sentinels. But there are Adrenal Gland Hormagaunts on the field now. And they are coming hard at this Lord General. So really, even though Soom isn't doing anything directly about these Sentinels, it seems like what he's basically trying to do here is to cause problems with other units that the Sentinels have to respond to. And in doing that, he's controlling the Sentinels effectively. Now the issue is when the Sentinels are not controlled in any other way, they're able to kind of sit here and keep bashing. We see Soom immediately putting a new node down, preventing the decapture there, and now we see that Nem recognizing that's going to keep happening, so he's just going to go ahead and bash the generators. But at this point that we look at the situation, though, Soom is already going tier 2, so very, very light tier 1 here for him. And there goes one generator, though. But again, we'll have to see what he wants to do in tier 2. These guardsmen getting hounded on there, and now... Are they just going to go straight to Nem's generators, or are they going to try and save their own? This is a really interesting Soom tactic here from Soom. Yeah, he is going to go ahead and just have one of these Hormagaunt squads pick up on this generator, and the Hive Tower is going to go ahead and do some capturing. Warrior's probably going to go ahead and decapture that. See, again, he's just going to... He's not plussed about what's going on down here. He's just going to go ahead, okay, you're doing that to me, I can do that right back to you, no problem. And in fact, you know, you've seen time and again, Hormagaun's one of the better units at doing this. And so here they go. Soom is now tier 2. Nem is about a third of the way there. So one Hormagaun squad backing out, the other one gets its generator, will back out. The warriors up top, they're decapturing some requisition. And Soom's Hive Tyrant is up top here. I think he would like to have a little more power at the moment, but again, not really sure what he's going for in tier 2. It could well be Gene Stealers for all I know. And actually, judging by what he did last game, that might make a lot of sense. Because here is the warrior, the Adrenal Gland Warrior Brood is out. So he loses all his power here. But he is making Gene Stealers! Hey! Deductive powers for 5-star General for the win! Yay! Everyone praise 5-star General. Figuring out what Soom's gonna do. Yay! Yay! Okay, anyway. No. Soom! Anyway, sorry. So you see, he's going for a Tyrant Guard. You know, it worked last game. Why not this game? So he was thinking Gene Stealers though, so I was partially correct. I take some credit for that. But he again has not dealt at all with these Sentinels yet. And so these Hormagaunts looking to press the issue here. They do have nice bits of Synapse here, so they've got 1166 health on the one squad, but 1100 on the other. So they're able to come in here, eat these stomps, eat this range damage a little better. Yeah, range damage resistance too. There's one Hormagaun squad that's got to get out of here. Got to get out. Got to get out. Got to get out. It's not getting out. It's not getting out, is it? It's got 6 health. It's got 6 health. Will it get out? And we have another Warrior Brood coming in, by the way. So it looks like what Soom's going to do here actually is grab maybe 2 Adrenal Gland Warrior Broods instead of getting any Gene Stealers. So get a little bit more durable of a force that's going to be able to survive these Sentinels. And you can see what these Warriors are doing up here. And then meanwhile grab the Tyrant Guard for just being the Tyrant Guard and having anti-vehicle and everything else and being awesome. And we see again here this Sentinel going ahead having a stomp ready, but just enough melee going on here that it, you know, at some point these Sentinels are going to be caught without a stomp. And the second they're caught without a stomp, they're also knocking out the path and get out of the way of this melee. I can tell you as an Orc player who did a lot of 3x Sluggo when Retribution Beta first came out, I mean, basically, you can trap these things in melee. It's very doable. But 2x is pretty brutal. But, you know, 1x, a little more doable. So if you can get that 1x in melee, especially when you have more durable squads like Warriors, it's a little more capable of happening. And Hormagaunts surround a little bit better than Sluggos do. But, you know, even Sluggos are capable of it, so it kind of gives you an idea. But we got this Chimera pushing out, and we got a heavy weapon squad. We see the first autocannon of the day. And the Tyrant Guard is just going to go ahead and sit here because there's nothing right now that can do anything to it. There's not even plasma on the field yet, I don't believe. No plasma. So this Tyrant Guard is just like, lol, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to soak up all your damage. And Nem's going to lag a little bit. But once he finishes lagging, again, the Tyrant Guard just sitting here, I'm still healing, you're damaging me with a bunch of stuff, I'm still healing. And I'm not sure what these Warrior Broods are doing here. They're like, actually like hiding is what they seem to be doing. They're like, not garrison, but that basically, I think Soom was literally just hiding those warriors. I'm not really sure why, but... Alright, so hidden warriors... Crouching Tyrant Guard, who just uncrouched, but whatever. And yes, we have an autocannon. That, friends, is what's going to be tasked with dealing with this Tyrant Guard. You see, it is dealing a lot of damage here, but the Tyrant Guard is just walking right up to it. And it's going to force it to reset up. And again, but no plasma here. This would be really nice nonetheless, though, for Nem, but there's no plasma. Because there's no plasma, this Tyrant Guard is not being punished for not being kind of in, you know, its usual, you know, little shell area. So it could be punished for just walking around here, but it's not. And that autocannon is tied up. And you see this melee force is getting forced off here. But a lot of carnage going on. I want to take a look at Nem's economy real quick. Look at his requisition count. You know, Imperial Guard do bleed, and we're seeing that right now. Even, you know, even with this constant reinforcing, now they finally got plasma. even with this constant reinforced, we've seen that the Sentinels aren't really being targeted. What is being targeted most are the Guardsmen, and yeah, sure, Nem's able to keep up with the reinforced, but oh my gosh, his requisition is just being decimated. Absolutely decimated, although we may have a little bit of a miscue here from Soom, because this autocannon is not going to have an issue dealing with this now. That's not going to regenerate health anymore. But yeah, Soom's reinforced cost can be a lot smaller than anything at the moment. Well, okay, I may speak too soon if this Tyrant Guard does indeed go down, because if the Tyrant Guard goes down, it's kind of a different game. But another one is building. So there's that. So maybe taking a little bit of a page from last game, and trying to get a couple out here. So he seems to be pushing back out, and he's got to find ways to eat these. Oh, he's got to eat the stomp. He's got to eat the stomp, then retreat, because now all these things have to eat the stomp. Soom. This is really entertaining Tyranid play for once. Well, not for once. Not like Soom doesn't usually have entertaining Tyranid play, but it's very entertaining. So I don't want to see it stop immediately. But seeing a very nice push here, and this is actually going to go ahead and force retreat and save the Tyrant Guard. So this is impressive here. We've seen that really Nem has adapted a bit to what Soom's throwing at him. And he's got the autocannon out, but it looks like the autocannon is not going to be the complete solution here, because there is another Tyrant Guard on the way, and it is having trouble dealing with just one. And but we have wait a minute, there's another Tyrant Guard on the way, but there's another Tyrant Guard. What else is on the way? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a Tyrant Guard, there must also be an accompanying autocannon. So it seems like another autocannon's on the way for Nem. And we've got another warrior call-in. Yes, we do, and that's going to go ahead and not only call in warriors, but again, reinforce everything around it, just like drop pods. So, except for, well, don't bring that issue up with Space Marine players. You don't want to hear it. But meanwhile, here, this Tyrant Guard and these warrior broods, this Adrenal Gun warrior brood, just tearing everything up. And now this Sentinel might be in some trouble. If Soom wants to go ahead and focus fire on it for a bit here. And he hasn't turned his focus, so he's just forcing everything else off that he can first. And there goes the... And you know, that's the right thing to do here, actually, because now this thing is in a bad spot. Now that Sentinel's trying to get away. But now it can get away, though, because it's not trapped by everything. But we do see the double Tyrant Guards are working pretty well, forcing Nem to go ahead and use static emplacements that he has no veil of time for. So force him to play a little more statically, or statically, maybe, I'm not really sure here. But this has kind of allowed Soom to go ahead and leverage, especially now that he's got 3 warrior broods out, to go ahead and have his Hormigons go ahead and do a bunch of stuff. A bunch of different stuff. Because there's 2 Tyrant Guards and his Hive Tyrant now as well, and just you know, a couple warrior brood, warrior brood here, warrior brood there, able to hold the line. And there are crushing claws, by the way. Yeah, crushing claws on this. Ooh, that is a brutal creeping barrage that wipes a Hormigon squad. So nice little job there by Nem, going ahead and picking up on the fact that he can reduce some of that capping power that is available to Soom, because at the moment the victory points are in Nem's favor. So, but we do see again a very nice force composition here by Soom at the moment, and he's got these Adrenal Glands out here for giving these basic synapses to the Tyrant Guards. They plop down into their little shells here, and they're actually just looking to, looks like they're going to camp this middle point here, give Soom some time to take the bottom here. It looks like he's really trying to make sure that Nem is not able to mature any particular point on the map. It's kind of what I'm taking away from this. He seems to be favoring this sort of shifting front style of... Oh, but here we go. We've got the missile launchers coming out and the Sentinels now. This is something that probably should happen a while ago for Nem. Now here comes the Hive Tyrant. Did he get stomped on the way in with that? The stomp, if it went off, did not register. And that Chimera taking a lot of damage. So is the Hive Tyrant too, who is doing his best here to really get in on these guardsmen. Ormagon's taking a lot of damage from the autocannons. Autocannons that are being forced off. Ormagon's staying in here. Hive Tyrant off though. And we're seeing both Sentinel. Okay, just one Sentinel with missile launcher, just one. It is the better position of the two though, so that's got to say something. 2 Warrior Broods inbound for Soom though. The third gonna go ahead and just continue capturing. Soom making sure he keeps a good economic presence. And there we go. One Tyrant Guard heals while the other does whatever it can. And he's worried, but he's trying to find a way in here. This is a lot of plasma though to go ahead and deal with. But again, they're just kind of keeping them pinned up in this this top area here. Like, it's very tough for Soom to go ahead and push at this. But if he can keep this pin up, he's in a pretty good spot. And he's about to go tier 3 briefly. He's going to have to find a way to save that Tyrant Guard, though. I'm surprised these warriors aren't just a little bit closer for basic synapse there. Alright, he is positioning forces in now, so he's looking like he's going to do something at this point. Maybe. He's got to save it. Alright, here he goes. Now, both Sentinels have missile launcher on them. And here we go. One Tyrant Guard has gotten up. Hive Tyrant charge in, immediately applying pressure to the Chimera. And here come the warriors in from all sides. And wow, Guardsmen dropping left and right here, ladies and gentlemen. Sentinel, the only thing that saves that one squad. Very low. And Soom screaming carnage! And why not? Because that is some carnage there. That is some mega nom-noms. So we are seeing this Tyrant Guard is going ahead and sort of healing up, and then the other one again just going into its little nice little I'm getting my vehicle shell mode. And there's a Sentinel here trying to capture a point with a crushing claw attacking it from a Hive Tyrant. That's never where you want to, no, never a spot where a Sentinel wants to be. Meanwhile, Hive Tyrant just running in here, taking some fire off of this Tyrant Guard. And actually doing a pretty good job. You know, I would be kind of interested to see maybe Rending Talons rather than Crushing Claw there, see if it would have any kind of serious difference or not. And meanwhile, Soom is tier 3. Big creeping barrage inbound though. And that's going to isolate at least one warrior squad. And then actually everything else gets knocked back there because Soom looks like he needs to do a little bit of extra maybe research or homework here on exactly where the edges of that boundary are for creeping barrage. Meanwhile, these Tyrant Guards are proving incredibly durable. They're working quite nicely. They are still up and they are still disrupting everything. This one is just about at the Chimera. It's getting some hits in on it. Ooh, big hits on the Chimera, actually. Huge hits going down there. And now the infantry is retreating out, so the Chimera going down. And Nem has just, he hasn't been able to commit resources to buying anything new. And that's what's been huge about all of these battles that we've been seeing here. So I was talking about that basically the longer this lockup over here, right, goes on for Soom, the better this gets, because the only way that Nem was staying in those battles was literally just constantly reinforcing in the field. And meanwhile, we see victory point situation is 170 to 28, and we actually saw Soom charge up with his Hive Tyrant, literally use charge to get up to this victory point as quickly as he could so he could capture it. And meanwhile, he's got Adrenal Gland Warrior Broods going to the bottom, and the General's down here without any real upgrades, so to speak of. And, okay, he gets in the building now. Soom wants to go retask. His Warrior's going to be able to go and capture that. He's going to be able to tank the Lord General. No problem there with Warrior Broods. He may lose one, maybe even two models, but at this stage of the game, he'll be able to get it done. And, again, he's building towards either a Swarm Lord or a Carnifex or whatever he wants. He's got Tyrant Guards positioned perfectly here behind rock outcroppings on both sides. And that is a GG. And looks like Soom, so after losing the first game, Soom turns around and through two completely different looks brings them down. Really impressive stuff here by Soom. Just again, really different play as well with that Hive Tyrant. You know, not used to seeing such an all melee build. Particularly, you'd think that it wouldn't work against 2 Sentinels, but Soom doing a great job there, being nonplussed, I want to say, by the 2 Sentinels. And I don't remember whose name I put first before, but whatever. So I'm sure that'll all come up as Nem v Soom number 1, Soom v Nem number 2. But yeah, so a really good series between these 3. I think, unfortunately, again, we didn't get to go over the victory that Nem had because of little mic issues at the beginning, or should I say, just you know. But definitely we'll be able to go ahead and take a look at that on Monday, and maybe the rest of these too. So certainly anything that didn't have commentary will have commentary, do not worry. And I'm really interested in taking a look at these again from kind of just different angles and stuff, particularly knowing the outcome of that second game, which was really epic. And even this one I kind of mentioned in the chat here, and I will open it to questions for about 5 minutes. And the question that I've got at the moment is, wouldn't Catachans be a good unit choice to fight Nid meaning Tyranid melee? And, you know, yeah, there's nothing really wrong with Catachans. The only issue is they do bleed a lot more than Guardsmen do, so going for the attrition-based style was what Nem chose to use, and it didn't end up working out for him. But, yeah, he kind of, and the issue with it is when you spend just that much requisition that early on in the game, you delay your power, you delay putting up your power generators, right? So, you know, there's never this, like, constant power income on both sides, you know, of any particular build, because one build may delay putting up power for multiple minutes into the game, but then gets a full farm up and then techs relatively quickly. And then, you know, what crops up after, you know, so if you delay your power like Nem did, he basically had planned to, trying to kind of get the power up and get a power heavy unit like Catachans out can be a very tough thing to do at times. And it's also a lot of requisition on top of that, so it's kind of one of those things where, yeah, if you're expecting this all melee, then, and you can get Catachans out, that's probably what you want to do. But it's a little bit tougher to transition into because, again, you know, from the all melee standpoint, probably I would say that you'd be looking at shouldn't take too much more one Termagant Brood and Crippling Poison to help control the Catachans. As far as which is a little bit cheaper and easier to transition into, is what I was getting at there. Question about, oh, and also with all those warrior birds going up, any one of them could have become a Barb Strangler at any time until tier 2. So that's the other thing as well you got to watch out for. That build, that's what I like about that build actually, from Soom, is that you had that kind of transition capability to go ahead and build another warrior, fast, you know, get to tier 2 a little faster. You have options for Barb Stranglers, which control Catachans really well, so all of that kind of stuff are options there. What happened to the Relic Developer battle, show matches, or battle? They went ahead and they canceled, I believe it was a couple weeks ago that it was scheduled for, because they were working really, really hard on getting 3.14.1 out and 3.14.2 out. So we're working on rescheduling that right now. We want to try and do that, by the way, when both Lockar and I are here, so it's one of the reasons why it's not like, oh, can you guys do it tomorrow? But also, you know, it needs a little more planning than that, and, you know, Lockar had some stuff to finish up, so we're waiting, you know, maybe, you know, just a little bit. You know, it would have been, we originally wanted to get it, like, right fresh off the 3.14 presses, just to kind of really see what they were doing in their kind of internal metagame coming off 3.14. So I feel like it's not quite as valuable a little later in, because I feel like we've all had a lot more time ourselves to go ahead and develop, you know, within the patch. So, you know, when 3.15 starts coming around, we may look at it again. And definitely, though, it's something, if you guys are interested even before then, you know, I think we'll look at it before then anyway, too. And no problem at all. So, yeah, speaking of gross, Game Replay's open season Tournament 1D signups, or, well, Gross 1 Tournament D signups, I should say, are open on GameReplays.org. Dawn of War 2. So if anyone wants to go ahead and plop that link, I know it was plopped up earlier in the chat. If anyone wants to plop it up again, feel free. You would be awesome. So yeah, definitely sign up for that or check it out. We'll be casting on here May 13th, which is basically a week from today, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's an hour and a half before these dailies usually start. And I believe Lockar and myself will be handling that, but yet to be totally finalized because Lockar is moving around and stuff at the moment. So once we can sit him down after he finishes all that, then we will figure that out. But you know, I really, by the way, wish that I had any idea of what in the world was going on in the post-game chat at the moment here. But unfortunately, I do not speak. I do not speak the language. And anyway, if there are any other questions, I'll take those really quickly. If not, thank you guys for tuning in. And I want to give a big thanks to Nem and Soom for going ahead and participating in this. on this. I want to give a really big thanks to Nem, actually, because he was the one who you know, helped really organize. He was the one actually who got Soom, because I was like, well, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, if you want to go ahead and do something. I haven't, you know, we didn't get to see you in the open season play against Tyranids. Not to say that had you played against Tyranids, the outcome would have been different, but I'd be really interested to see your play against Tyranids. So we kind of set it up on that premise, and just so happened to get one of the best Tyranid players around in Soom. So was really happy about that, and really happy about how the matches. Not a fan one way or the other, just, you know, happy that they were all great matches and that, you know, they all showcase something different. You know, we got to see a very similar Imperial Guard strategy adapted multiple ways versus literally 3 completely different Tyranid strategies from 3 completely different heroes. But if that's all, then thanks again. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you NemOK, and thank you Soom. And we will see everyone back here on Monday, which is a day after Mother's Day, by the way. So for those of you who are in countries that participate in Hallmark holidays or that care about them, remember that, because despite the fact that it may not be a real holiday, your mother thinks it is, and she expects a present probably, or your presence. Reminder. Friendly reminder. So anyway, see you guys Monday, and hopefully with Lockar, or I'll do my best over the weekend to arrange a guest or something too. So anyway, thank you guys. I will see you then. Or wait, stay on. We have we've got an opportunity here. Don't go anywhere, actually. Stay rooted to your seat. And anyone who left the chat, if you have their Steam or anything, go ahead and just fish it out and tell them to not go anywhere and to get back here and watch this and listen, because we've got an installment of a special installment here of Dawn of War 2 Radio coming up, and I think you guys may appreciate it because it's a bit of an interview. And I think you'll like it. So we're gonna go ahead and set that up right now without delay. That means there should be minimal delay. I do have to add Nem here really quick. Oh, I just gave it away. And yeah, never figuring it out. So that's alright. I hope I said that name right, by the way. So give Nem my name, waiting for the contact request. Alright, so I got it close enough, that's good. Oh, okay, I have to add Nem, whatever. Alright, so let me go find that. And there he is. Alright, just about ready to get this underway here. Sorry about that. I mentioned this was something that was semi-pre-planned, but then didn't get a chance to talk to him to follow it through. But I think we can go ahead and do that right now, so let's go ahead and send the call out. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Quite good. I hope that, let's see. Just double checking my options really quickly because I don't want to have happen what happened before happen again. But it looks like everything is coming through properly. So, how are you?
Yay!
And I just asked how you're doing. Okay, so so unfortunately, I gotta break the bad news to you that I was
Oh,
having the first match was shown but not commentated.
oh, that's bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, the issue was well, it's a long story, but we'll go ahead on Monday, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give that proper commentary. But maybe you can go ahead and actually, do you want to join me Monday and give that proper commentary?
Yeah, sure, why not?
It's the one you won, so yeah. We'll probably be going through the other ones too, because that second one was a really great game. Do you have any comments on that second game, by the way?
I was playing just for the lols. The waste of my Beyblade was terrible. And yeah, my aim with the cannons of the Beyblade isn't really good because you don't play him that much.
Yeah, were you expecting Soom to come out with 2x Tyrant guards?
No, but I have played like 4 tournaments since beta, so it's really hard to play against a good tournament and know what they are doing. I think Zoom was just trying some things, and well, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, he used 3 different strategies. Today you mentioned just, right now that it's really tough to know what a Tyrant's going to do against you. And I think that you had the 4x Termagants in the first game, which, by the way, I didn't think would be viable at all against the 2x Sentinel because it just felt like it was going to bleed too much. But I was watching the economy tab, the bleed wasn't that bad. It was just he was cornered, of course. But then he got tier 2, and he actually got, the Venom Brood on to start what was your feeling in tier 1, my bad, in that first game when, you were controlling tier 1, you got your Chimera out, you kind of seemed to be doing what you wanted to do, and then all of a sudden things seemed to turn around for a little bit there with the Venom Brood.
Well, I didn't expect that he built a Venom Brute that quickly, but I was so far ahead that I think it doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, I was kind of interested personally in if he had been able to maybe get a second Venom Brood or something out. It seemed like he was able to deal with that first Chimera, but the second Chimera seemed to be the big thorn in his side. And he also just wasn't able to keep that Venom Brood everywhere. But, well, I mean, sure. Okay, if you have anything on that, go ahead, feel free.
I don't know what I should tell. I have to check the replays again. So maybe I came up with something new against the 2 Tyrant Guards. Not sure.
Oh, okay, I was talking about the first game still, but that's alright. So what did you change going from the first game to the second game? Did you really look to do anything different, or did Outer Reaches kind of change your approach to it in any way?
Outer Reach is a really good Tyranid map. You can flank very easily. And the Lictor is really good against my build because I have no detection. Yeah, so I needed to build devils, but well, maybe they aren't the answer to the Lictor. I should have gone for 2 Ogren spots, I guess.
Yeah, that seemed like that would have been pretty. I can definitely agree. So I'm like, I was watching the Beamblade, and I'm like, it looks like Soom is getting his way back, and I'm like, oh, but the Beamblade is coming out. But then the Beamblade, it's like it's one of those like all your eggs in one basket sort of deal. Just like
Yeah,
if the Baneblade goes south.
yeah. I thought I just pump out a Baneblade and Ruffle Stomp him, but yeah, he dies so quickly against the two Venom Birds and the Gene Stealers and the Warriors and whatnot.
But using that
So
main cannon is fun, so it's all worth it.
yeah, and he was trapped in the middle, so that was bad.
Yeah, I actually saw. I was wondering, like I saw the main cannon shot on the on this warrior that was just like walking around, and I'm like, oh, is that just like a stray warrior? And then I realized, no, wait, this is one of the warriors that like Soom had a warrior brute of every type in the game, and he was just scraping by, so just bottom of the barrel stuff economically. He hadn't actually bothered to reinforce the Barbed Strangle warrior brute, so it was like one model, and you're like, oh, boom, cannon right on the last model of the warrior brute. And here I'm thinking it's just like, oh, it's the warriors having funky pathing, taking the long way around. Oh, wait a minute, where'd the Barbed Strangler brood go? Oh!
He was top kept almost the whole game, so I guess the loss wasn't so bad for him.
How did you feel about Carapace armor?
No, it's really good. It's a little expensive to rely on it on tier 2, but after you hit tier 1, after you hit tier 2, it's really a good upgrade to deal with suppression.
Yeah, it seemed to deal incredibly well with the Barbed Stranglers, particularly once you got the plasma on your guardsman. It did delay your Chimera a little bit. So I was a little surprised when I was watching that you kind of gone for that and then delayed the Chimera for it. But it did seem to work out.
Yeah, suppress guard do nothing, so I just went for the Carapace armor so that my guardsman can deal still some damage for the Chimera.
And in that last game, do you wish you had gone for blast cannons instead of auto cannons, maybe?
No. Sure, blast cannons counter Tyrant Guard in this Stonewall thing mode, but they're completely useless against everything else. And invest in one or maybe two blast cannons. I don't know. Shouldn't work. I think maybe I should have went for Stormtroopers for the melter and just one autocannon.
Yeah, that actually seems pretty viable too. Because the autocannon was doing a pretty good job of killing Hormigons too. It was one of the reasons, other than creeping barrage, why one of the Hormigon squads went down. I know it brought there was one that went down to like 6 health.
Yeah, but Seawall is a tough map for IG versus Nitz, I think, because he can blob pretty easy, and his blob against mine is most of the time just stronger. So
yeah, I was watching the economy tab like a lot that game because I was looking at it and I'm like, you're staying in this somehow, but like Soom seems to just be getting up in your grill and just completely tearing through your stuff. And I'm like, how are you staying in this? And I'm like, oh, okay, you've got no requisition at all. Just that Chimera reinforce is just killing you.
yeah, and I lost my requisition point really early.
Yeah.
I think decapped it at the start and did a good job and decapped on all my requisition points all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good job of stalling until he had the forced composition he wanted.
Yeah, that really kills the IG build. If you don't have enough rec income, your reinforce just kills you.
Definitely, I can relate to that as orcs. And I guess probably the other thing, yeah, you mentioned that Melta Stormtroopers would probably deal with this, but he really did a good job of using the rock outcroppings to kind of shield his Tyrant Guards from any long-range bombardments while they were in their shield mode. And to kind of grow those victory points, too.
Yeah. As I said, maybe just went to for Stormtroopers with Melta and don't upgrade the Sentinels
Yeah,
with the autocannon.
I thought the Sentinel upgrade was... I thought missile launcher was alright, it just seemed like it came so late that they were getting swamped by so many things, but it's really tough to tell. Someone in chat asked about catechins there, and I was my personal answer. I'll give you my version of it first, and I'll get obviously your expert opinion. But my thing was like, I'm like, well, given the force composition you originally intended for, you didn't intend for catechins, so anything to get catechins at that point would have been sort of reactive, and it's a little tough in your force composition to kind of get them while still getting past, getting to tier 2 in a timely manner and everything, and to kind of make that all work, right? And get that Chimera out there at some point, where it's still going to be useful. So what are your thoughts on catechins there, just because of all that melee that was coming in and messing things up for you?
Catechins are really good, but Hormas just kill them pretty easily. And they are really expensive. So if you use models, you have to reinforce them too. And with 2 or 3 guardsmen, you want to reinforce them all the time, and you don't have the requisition to play devils at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Even the knockback is nice, but with 2 sentinels you got 2 stumps, so you don't really need the knockback of the devils.
Yeah, the only thing I was really thinking is that you might have some flexibility in the build to stop that second sentinel and replace it with a catechin, but as you mentioned, there are a bunch of reasons why you might not want to do that anyway.
It's 40 energy just for the devils, plus 20 for the demolition man, and 20 or 25 for the Sarge on tier 2. That's a lot of stuff, and if you get unlucky, he just kills them on retreat, so it's a lot of possibilities that you may sort or just need to think of.
Definitely. So, any questions from the fans here for Nem?
Fans.
We got fans in chat. Not seeing too much at the moment, so. Anything?
Yeah, if anyone has questions, he can add me on Steam and ask me. So, I'm a pretty nice guy.
You're very nice. I mean, you actually went through, I mentioned earlier to everyone that you went through all the effort of actually basically helping set this up. And we actually do have a question that's totally unrelated to today, but we have a question from Narik about how to deal with orc sluggablobs very early game.
Sluggablobs, yeah, normally you go 1 sentinel all the time against orcs, so just try to stomp 2 sluggers at one time and back up, so you can your guardsmen can fire at range, and they do a pretty good job with a Sarge. And maybe if he goes for 3 sluggers,
my personal answer is just going to be go to Sentinel, but
I mean, 2 or 3 sluggers is almost an orc twice to fast tech or something, so you can go to sentinels and just stand at this generator farm and kicks it.
Yeah, there's actually some decent examples of 2x Sentinel play. I want to say not necessarily versus melee orcs, but just kind of well, actually, it's kind of nice, period, because it's 2x Sentinel play against what, you're not necessarily getting 2x Sentinel to combat, right? And it's, again, from Nem. And if you go ahead to gamereplays.org/JohnWar2, go to the replay section, go to events, game replays, open season, #1 tournament C, and your replays against Norney have some good 2 Sentinel play in them. We also casted those earlier this week, so.
I think what is a no-go against sluggers is to go devils. Just too expensive, and he will just take to tier 2 at a weird boy and counter your devils pretty easy. So
Yeah, I found like if you have one Luda as orcs in that composition, like that 3x Slugga and Luda composition, which is really kind of, I'd say probably the ultimate refinement of that at the moment. If you're not seeing that, you're probably seeing something lesser. um, but, you know, that particular composition will just devastate any sort of catechin-based solution to it, because if you've got enough Sluggas, they actually do win in melee. And basically the Luda can suppress on approach, and you know, it forces the catechins to use their old reliable on the Luda as opposed to the Sluggas, or if they don't use it on the Luda, then they're suppressed, and that's really bad for the catechins. So
yeah, and the sluggers go use walk, and you have to back up, and you will always lose a lot of devils. So it's also really expensive.
yeah, not to mention tier 2 where you've got like Weird Boy Zap. If you're facing a K-Nob, you've got Commandos with Love the Daka and Burn a Bomb. If you ever get a Burn a Bomb tossing your devils, honestly, you know,
Special shooter.
yeah. Although I mean, I kind of have this little thing with like Burn a Bomb and Special Shooter is that catechins are detectors and they've got explosive shells or explosive shot and all reliable. So while they are devastated by those abilities if caught up by them, if you're on your game, they technically should never be caught by them.
Well, if you face a really strong Kano player, you are almost low on energy on the devils because you need their abilities all the time. So
agreed. Yeah,
special
it will
shooter
force you to
can be
waste
very
your
nasty against them. So
yeah, it'll force you to waste your energy on that. I think is the best possible takeaway there is that there are a lot of reasons they're just kind of a liability. I think no matter how you slice it, even if they don't get blown to smithereens by those things, then either they're not going to be as effective as they could be in supporting your force, and basically just become a wreck and power sink, or you know they're going to go ahead and not have the energy because they're too busy supporting your force, and then at that point they're in big danger.
and you really want enough energy for old reliable or shotgun blast to knock back the orcs, so you can get in a better position. So if you waste them on the K-Nob, it's always tricky.
All right, so how do you decide to time your Basilisk Creeping Barrage, and how do you decide where to place them?
Well, mostly random. It's just sometimes it just feels right to use it at some point to prevent a squad from capping, or well, timing on creeping barrage on units is just use it.
Skill. just put it down. Nem is amazing, and therefore.
And now it's just yeah, well, after so many games, you know the timings, you know how fast units retreat, how fast units move, and you can almost predict the ways they're going, and yeah, just learning by doing.
Alright, so just, you know, honestly, even just a computer game, because I was actually doing some stuff, I think it was, yeah, just the other day on the daily even, I think I was doing it. I was playing Lord General on the new map Lost by London Duncan, which we're thinking about.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, okay, yeah, you did. And yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm going to just go ahead and try and do what Nem does. I'm going to try and get these Chaos Space Marines while they're retreating. And, I mean, it was slightly late, but it did get some damage in on them. I don't think it finished them off, but it came really close. I'm like, okay, I've got a feel for the timing. I can just dial that in the more I do it. And Nem, how many hours a day do you play, by the way?
Per day, 0. I just play when I'm in the mood, so yeah, it's maybe 3-4 hours a week or so.
Really? I thought it was a little more than that, but alright.
Oh, I played a lot after the release of Dawn of War 2, but
Okay.
so at the start of the beta I played a lot, simply because IG. Yeah, it's always fun to try some new stuff, and get the feeling for a race, how to play it. So, but at the moment, I don't really play that much. To be honest, I have played before the last tournament like 5 games the whole week,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't play a single game before the tournament starts. So,
Well, you saved all your awesomeness for the tournament, is what happened. We'll just put it down to that.
just lucky day, I guess.
I think it seemed a little more than luck at the way you were dominating guys left and right, but we'll go with whatever you want to there. What games do you come from? Like, what games did you play before Dawn of War 2, and what skills do you feel from those games carried over?
Oh, that's a tough one. I start playing on my Commodore 64. So I don't know my first game, but my first PC game was Dune 2.
Which one?
Dune 2.
Oh,
Westwood's
Dune 2. Okay. Well, so we're going way back
epic
to
RTS
very
hit.
beginning of the RTS. Not some people think it's the very beginning of the RTS genre. Not quite the very beginning, but the very beginning of the RTS genre as we know it, I think, is the better way to put it.
Still awesome game.
Exactly. So, starting at almost the beginning, and maybe a little more recently, what have you been playing?
Online game was Warcraft 1. So far as online games goes, I played Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3,
Any
StarCraft,
StarCraft?
of course, StarCraft 2
Oh, okay.
a lot at the beta. After that, nah.
Yeah, that's about where I am with it, but we can't talk bad about StarCraft 2 on IC Cup TV. Diamond will have my head. Nah, maybe I think he's a little nicer and maybe more reasonable than that, but but no, I'm still a really big Brood War fan, but I'm not a huge fan of StarCraft 2 personally.
Yeah, well, I played like 1,500 games at the beta, but after that, just get boring. It's just all about timings and
Macro, yeah.
yeah. So other games I played: Command and Conquer 1, Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun. But most of the time, RTS was just well, I played it. Besides, I played almost 10 years Counter-Strike. Semi-pro level in Germany, so
Oh, okay. Are there any, again, like, the question was fully, are there any skills that you feel carry over from any of those, or you feel it's self-evident, or...
well, don't really know what to say.
That's fine. If you don't have a real answer, then you don't have to force anything.
Yeah, I guess it's just if
It's
you
just...
play a lot of games, you'll get a kind of feeling for it. So,
Yeah. Just, going all the way back to Dune, too, so I think that probably says enough, honestly. And, so let's see what other questions we have here. And, oh, some love here for saying that StarCraft 2 isn't the Holy Grail, alright.
yeah, it's good, but it's not. Well,
It's a solid RTS, is what I can say about it. But, I like Dawn of War 2. It's new, it's interesting, it's different, and...
to be honest, I just started playing Company of Heroes, and I think it's much more interesting because you can do a lot of more stuff with your builds, the timings, capturing, and really interesting game.
Yeah, they, like, COH and Dawn of War 2 for me are... I like COH for a while, but I've always been a big Brood War fan, a little bit more towards... Depends on the RTS, really, but something about Dawn of War 2 just kind of captures an element of Brood War that I really liked, and just kind of streamlines and focuses it really nicely for me. And, I mean, I still like and I still play Brood War and stuff, but I still watch Brood War. Go Flash. Flash!
Yeah, Flash, my hero.
Yes, another Flash fan! Oh, yeah! Virtual high five.
Yeah, high five.
But yeah, I'm
But
a Terran player. And
if you talk about Brute War, you have to talk about Slayer's Box, to be honest.
But well, anyway, I don't even know where I was going with this anymore because Flash just totally sidetracked my mind because he's so awesome. Yeah, Firebat Hero is pretty awesome too. I'll say that. Also, he's finally doing something again with Ace, so bit of a shout out to him there.
Yeah, I still watch MSL and OSL and whatnot.
Winners League, Pro League.
Yeah,
same
all
thing
this
there.
stuff.
Those two actually the same thing, but actually
yeah, I can't tell you what's the difference between them, but
well, it's just Winners League is part of Pro. It's they do it like I think they
a
do
lot of good games.
2 sessions of it now. But anyway, speaking of that, Game Replay is thinking about doing a clan league, a 1v1 clan league, sort of like Pro League maybe.
That's interesting.
For Dawn of War 2, so I don't know. Maybe if you want to make plans for that in advance. But let's see what else is in here. So, question about just a few general questions. I guess we could. Nah, but I think we talked enough about Dawn of War 2 versus other stuff, so I'll just let those slide for now. Sliding questions away. And do we have any other questions that are a little more relevant either to, today or just kind of, in general? The gross 1C performance, the amazing performance is there. Also, totally, open for conversation. We've got, the 1C tournament victor here. Sure, people watched. No, I know they did. I know actually a lot of people in this chat watched the dailies where we went over those too. Let's see. I'll figure out a question from that then. I'll stop relying on my little worker bees to do all the work for me. No, they're not worker bees. They're fans. They're valued fans. But so let's see. You mentioned that you made up the build, the 3 guardsmen against Noave for Tech Marine, and used the same thing against Edja. Do you want to... I know we talked about this a bit on Steam, but I think straight from the... I don't want to call you a horse, but that's the saying. But straight from your mouth, I suppose, you want to go ahead and just tell everyone how that went down?
Well, went really good. I don't know what to say.
Just kind of like, how you got the idea for the build and did it, and what you kind of like refined, because like you had catechins in the first game, and then also
that was kind of a mistake because I forgot to drop generators, and I had fired requisition at like 40 energy, so I decided maybe
I saw that and I was like, no, he's just waiting for the 40 energy to get catechins. Maybe he's just doing the build, so maybe he's got some. Because I know every time I do a new build, I've got to always go through it a few times, in a game or something before I figure out, okay, this is about where I'm going to be at in terms of power, and this is when I need to get generators, this is how many I need to get, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, he's probably, because he mentioned this is the first time he did it, he probably wasn't, but no, he just forgot to put him down straight up.
Yeah, I was still a little bit drunk, so I guess that's why I forgot to drop generators.
But don't tell Norny you were still a little drunk, because I don't think he wants to hear that about his series. Although that's right, no, Round of 8 was the different day, my bad. Okay, so Norny was the last game of the day before that, so...
Yeah,
Norny, you're fine.
Just on Sunday I was drunk. As I said, I just came back to play my games and leave again. But yeah. It doesn't work out. So
I think you put it as you came back to lose really quickly, and so you can get back to partying, and then you're like, oh, oops, I won.
Yeah, barbecue was still waiting, and I was like, damn. And now I have to play Edge, and yeah. Okay.
And then win those 2-0. I mean, you did a really good job of winning about as quickly as you could.
Yeah, I just still wanted to go back, and yeah, I made a deal with Noif, so the winner of our series had to win the tournament, and yeah, I don't like to disappoint people, so I won the tournament.
The last thing you did was disappoint. Actually, you've got, let's see, because of you, how many balance discussions do we have about Lord General on the game replays, general discussion forums right now?
I think 2.
Yeah, at least. It's actually a fairly decent amount when you look at the amount of posts
It
in them per
splits
day.
out some threads, so.
There was at least like one that came up immediately, I think it was from Linden, and like, oh, everyone's complaining about Eldar, complain about this instead!
Like Aki's Elder Eco post after he lost, or Winnicare's Elder Falcon Shield
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I do like how the community did the second, like, oh, I lost. Well, it's time to go make a post about how this is Imba.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem. Many people just lose to a build or try a build and that doesn't work, so they just go to the forums and start flaming. So
yeah, I really...
blah 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 blah. But instead of doing that, maybe they should take some time and just try it out again and again and again. It's all about timing and how do you use your builds. So you can really do builds that looks like they don't work, but yeah, you can turn them.
I mean,
So-
look at Soom's last game. Who in the world would think that going melee is how you beat 2x Sentinel with 3x Guardsman support? Are you kidding me? That's not intuitive at all.
To be honest, I lost a game against Naraya in the beta against a heavy Horma build.
Yeah. But I mean, if you haven't, like, tried that out or seen someone do that, it just makes no sense how it could even work, you know, to begin with.
Yeah, but still, why don't try something?
Oh, no,
complete-
I completely agree. I'm not contradicting you at all. I'm supporting your argument is what I'm trying to do, and that, you know, we have evidence now. Evidence today, even, of, like, some of the best counters are just the least intuitive things in the world. Dawn of War 2 is notorious for this. It's like one of the things that makes it should be a simple game, you'd think, for newer players to pick up, because like, oh, you know, the macro is all streamlined and stuff, except because the macro is streamlined, now you don't see half of it, so, you know, newer players have to figure out, oh, what is this upkeep stuff and why is it destroying my economy? And, you know, then all the resource points and then maturing and stuff. Wait a minute, so you mean I have to hold on to resource points, otherwise they, you know, demature, and all of a sudden I have no rec income, and now it gets all confusing. But
yeah, Dawn of War 2 is a game that is easy to learn but hard to master. You really need a lot of knowledge about the back stuff that happens, so that you know which engagement you can take and when do you have to retreat, and it's just really about playing it a lot and know what you are doing.
yeah, and probably my favorite thing about a lot of these balance arguments, by the way, too, are particularly the recent ones in Lord General are like, so if you have your like Eldar versus Imperial Guard build that you're suggesting, try it against. You have, in order for us to even take you seriously, to even try it ourselves, you know, to get our hands dirty, make it work against Nem or Trojan. So I'm like, wait a minute. So we're saying that the Lord General then probably isn't that far imbalanced, if at all, very much imbalanced, because now we need like incredibly high skill Imperial Guard players to match up against players maybe sizable lesser skill, and then if that works, that's balanced. I don't understand this, but yeah, so just all of that, yeah, I completely agree with you.
Problem of those balance discussions is just if you want to balance a game on a high level or a casual level, so it's different.
Yeah, it definitely is, and you know, honestly, the high level balance at the moment, we've had 3 different races win. Well, I don't know if you can call Edja any specific race, but we've had Edja and 2 races win the Game Replays Open Season Tournament. And, you know, 2 different ones who are not Space Marines since the 3.14 patch, despite that I don't like all the changes made to Space Marines. And, you know, particularly mostly because of the 2v2 balance issue. But, you know, we haven't actually had Space Marines go ahead and win a tournament since that. I'm like, well, wait a minute, it's not like we don't have good Space Marine players. But, anyway, yeah, enough about balance. QQing.
Yeah,
Or not
to be honest, I
QQing.
don't really care about balance talks, and I don't think about it a lot. So if I play and if I lose, it's all about what was my mistake, why did I lose, and try to do it better the next game. So I don't blame the game or the player. I just blame myself if I lose.
And that is the way to win, honestly. Um, I mean, it kind of comes back to, it's like you can think of all the ways that you can lose, or you can think of all the ways that you can win. And it's kind of one of those glass half empty, glass half full things. The latter is usually more useful. And the former usually means balance QQing, which gets you nowhere. You can QQ about balance all you want, but Relic is only eventually going to do whatever changes they want to do, which have proven to not necessarily be what we want them to be, right? The we being everyone. Yeah, I'm going to stop including myself in this QQ group of balance people at some point.
Yeah, the best way is just take what the game gives you and work with it. So try it. There's a lot of ways you can play the game. So try new stuff, even it sounds weird or
Take it
can
from
be.
a guy who just earned $25.
I think we have a question here.
We have, let's see. Oh, did someone message you one personally, or?
Oh, did you pick up Dawn of War 2 because of its gameplay or its background story?
Oh yeah, we've got that one sitting around too. I let it slide originally, but if you want to answer it, feel free.
Well, I'm playing Warhammer Tabletop since, yeah, for almost 10 years now. So I played Dawn of War 1, and that's why I'm playing Dawn of War 2, just because Warhammer. I'm a huge fan, so.
And we're all assuming it's a good enough game to make him stick around.
Yeah, probably. I mean, without the Warhammer stuff, I think I wouldn't play it anymore. So, because if a game is most of the time just boring, I switch to another game because I want to learn new stuff and try new stuff. And well, if you play a lot of the same game, it's always the same. So
Yeah. So, getting a little late now. Actually, it's probably later over. It's not late here. I mean, I just woke up about an hour before the cast, but no, half an hour before the cast. And it's not like it's morning over here either. It's just morning for me. But I have to fix that. I was working on fixing that, and I'm like, I don't want to like try and stay up and then like go to sleep a few hours before the daily, and then have to try and wake up and do it. That would just be groggy. So unfortunately, my awesome, amazing, like, I'm so perky in the morning, but I'm not usually ever. Start earlier today was completely wasted because the mic was not even disconnected, but not set as the default device. Was the issue because I had unplugged it to clean the dust out of my computer, and actually not out of my computer. I gotta say I love this Raven RVO2E because the dust filters it has on it are just amazing. They catch everything. The problem is sometimes they catch too much. There's no dust in the case ever now, but you pull those dust filters out, and within a month they are just short of clogged. So I think now we do have another actual question. And what do you feel is the most appealing gameplay aspect of Dawn of War 2 over other RTS games for you? I guess definitely remembering that you've played just about everything at this point.
well, just Warhammer style, I guess. Don't really know. Yeah, it's different from the standard RTS games, no? So with all the capping, yeah, it's just different. So
Keeps as far as the Warhammer style goes, it does a good job of keeping the focus on combat mostly. So I guess we could let you off with that. Hey, we have Lyndon in the chat. Lyndon, do you have any questions for Nem? I
Hi.
almost feel like you might. And Nem, do you have anything to say to Lyndon?
Hi.
Alright, that seems to be all Nem has to say to Lyndon.
Greetings to another tabletop player.
And I have a question about when we're going to go eat. So it seems like, yeah, but I think we'll go ahead and do that in about 10 minutes. It's like a phone.
Yeah, I think I will go to bed.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, it's again understandably late over there. So
Yeah, I just got up before the matches, so.
oh, so actually, are you like staying up, or are you like did you sleep a bit and like then get up and then you're going back to bed? Or
I was so tired, I was just falling asleep, so I sleep for 2 hours.
okay, so just taking a nap. Yeah, we don't want to throw like your sleeping schedule out before the next open season tournament. So, just so you were the first one to sign up for it, by the way, as I recall. So,
Yay!
awesome job there. We should give like prizes to people.
After you told the registration will be up soon, I just hit F5 all the time.
That is the way to do it, honestly. F5 is a very good
I wanted to be the first one.
We really do need to give prizes for that. I don't know what prizes we should give, but we got to find a prize that we can do and that we can give. There's got to be something. I'll talk to the mistress about it. But so it looks to be just about all the questions we've got today. Again, like unless you want to say something or.
As I said, if someone want to talk to me, just PM me on Game Replays or add me on Steam. So I like to chat with other gamers, so add me.
So there you go. If you've got anything that you couldn't think of now and you want to ask him later, he's always open to a little bit of chit chat. So actually, I think we're gonna go ahead and maybe start a little something new on Game Replays, by the way, before the next tournament. And maybe go ahead and do sort of like a pre-tournament interview with the winner of the previous tournament, and maybe also get Lyndon's take on things too. But
Yeah.
not right now, but later. So
Maybe new series for the dailies. Chit chat with the players.
yeah. Again, by the way, you want to be here? Will you be here Monday also? As we go over that first game and the other ones against Soom today.
Yeah, sure. I have nothing planned for Monday, so should be able. So.
All right, that's awesome. So you heard it here first, guys. Nem will also be here Monday. So if you are a little too afraid to go ahead and PM him or anything, then just just show up Monday and start spamming chat.
Don't be afraid. I don't bite.
He's a normal human being like everyone else, except he just wins tournaments. That's all. And he sentences thousands of guardsmen to death every day for his personal pleasure.
Like a real IG commander.
Exactly, and he executes them to save them, but which I don't feel there's a question to ask
It's
about
ironic.
that. I do like your micro with the on retreat, making sure that you go ahead and like, oh, there's a spore mine like that. And the second game, that was really nice, avoiding the spore mines with the retreat execute.
Yeah,
Something.
I think the execute is so underused. You can kill a lot with it because your opponent think you back up and just start capping or something, and you just execute your guardsman and kill something. So that's really nasty and worked pretty good.
Yeah, I was actually, honestly, when I heard about it, like, pre-beta, right, it was actually one of the things I was most excited about coming into Retribution. And I'm guilty myself of not using it nearly enough when I play Imperial Guard. And, like, every time I watch you and every time I see you use it, I'm just like, facepalm. I should be doing that more. And, like,
yeah, after I start playing IG, I didn't use it at all. I thought guardsmen were so a big waste of requisition and upgrade them were just stupid, but
the evolving
I was
metagame.
wrong. Yeah, it's funny. Most IG players started with devils to two devils builds and all that stuff, and now you don't really see devils that often.
Devils used to be the devil, no longer.
Yeah, even they have some funny sounds.
Get you the Valkyrie! But alright, so that's gonna wrap it up because I think I have to go to dinner. And I think Nem has to sleep. And I think that's all we really need to cover anyway. So thank you, Nem, for number one, helping this set up, or helping get this set up today, because we couldn't have done that without you to go ahead and make this show match happen. And thank you for accommodating the late time slot here, because I know we're kind of set up on more of an American schedule over here, but you know, out in Germany it is not a friendly time at the moment to go ahead and be doing show matches. But thank you for accommodating that, and thank you for putting on some great show matches with Soom. And I also want to thank Soom for being here as well. A little late, but for being here. I'm assuming
Maybe I just call him. I think he's sleeping right now, so I just wake him up.
Yeah, I saw he was in Dawn of War 2, but I wasn't sure if he was in like a ladder match or what. So, but yeah, if you've got his personal phone number, then
yeah, he told me he want to get up tomorrow for football, so or soccer, and just went offline, I guess.
No, that's fine. I was just saying, yeah, I want to thank him for being on. So,
I can do it for you if you want.
that works. Yeah. You
Yeah,
don't have to call him. Don't have to wake him. Don't have to bother him. It's, you know.
he's a nice guy. I met him at the EPS finals, so.
Okay. So, anyway, you know, again, thank you, and if you have any parting words, feel free. Otherwise,
Big love to my fans. Heart.
all Nem fans out there, you just got a little shout out. We need to start proper fan clubs, by the way. We could totally do that. But anyway, so everyone, thank you guys for watching today. We'll be back Monday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You use a little time converter to figure out what that means for you. I'm not giving time conversions anymore.
It's like 5 or 6 hours different.
Yeah, I think it's 6, well, between here and most parts of Germany, but I don't know if there's... What time is it for you right now?
2 a.m.
It's 8 a.m. here, so that's 6 hours. So, anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching, those of you that were here, and those of you watching this on demand, you got an extra nice little bonus today. And I'm not going to be including the first video on the YouTube, or the first part. We're just going to go ahead and wait for the part where my mic didn't work, I guess, is the one I'm not going to be including. So we're going to just wait for Monday. And if you guys didn't see that, you can either watch Justin.tv saves the VODs immediately. It's really nice like that. So if you really want to see it immediately, you can see it, but there's no commentary. And I even have like voices off so that I can do better commentary. But that means that when there's no commentary coming through, it's really desolate. So you may want to watch at your own risk if you're audio inclined. Now, of course, if you watch these with the volume off, then well, number one, no, I can't do that. But if you do, I guess you might be all right. Is the maybe more polite version of that.
It's called karaoke watching or something.
But anyway, otherwise, on Monday we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at all 3 of these replays, and Nem will be here. Actually, if you want to ask Soom if he wants to hop on too, I don't know how good his English is though, but
yeah, I think it's not worse than mine, so.
Yours seems actually really good, so...
Yeah, it's been a while since I talked, so writing is not the problem, but talking, I think last time I spoke English was 2 years ago in England, so yeah.
Doing a really good job. I'm telling you that right now. You know, it sounds like you've got an accent, but you're in some kind of English-speaking country to me almost, so... awesome job with learning the language and being just awesome about it, and just being awesome in Dawn of War 2. Whatever. I'm gonna stop gloating. Or not gloating, what, gushing, there we go, that's the word I'm looking
I think
for.
you are my fanboy number one.
Yay. Oh, don't tell Tex and Norny that.
Oh, they would hate you.
Actually, Tex also, by the way, had a Warboss versus Mechboy mirror for me to look at too. So look for that sometime next week too, guys. And again, all of these 3 games will be on Monday. And sign up for the Game Replays Open Season #1 Tournament D. Do it. You know you want to sign up.
Do it now.
Do it. Ah.
I am to destroy you.
But anyway, again, thank you, Nem, and thanks everyone. And this is the last time I'm gonna thank everyone, so we're gonna cut things off now. And this is 5-Star General signing off.
Nem signing off.
And we're done. Thank you very much, guys.